CoreWeave may not be a household name, but if you've used ChatGPT or any AI image generator, you've likely used their nervous system. How does a company that started on a pool table chasing the profits of crypto become the bedrock of the entire AI revolution? How did 3 commodity traders who got their start mining Ethereum build an empire now critical to giants like Microsoft and NVIDIA? In this video, I'll go over how a small crew of outsiders saw the future hidden inside the silicon of thousands of graphics cards and made a bet so audacious, it launched them from the fringes of the crypto world to the absolute center of the AI gold rush. They recently went public in a blockbuster March 2025 IPO, and as of late 2025, they command a revenue backlog of over $55 billion. This is the unbelievable yet completely true story of CoreWeave, the crypto miner that became an AI king. Our story really kicks off back in 2016. The world was going nuts for cryptocurrency. Bitcoin's price was exploding, but another digital coin, Ethereum, was catching the eye of a different kind of prospector. Unlike Bitcoin, you could actually mine Ethereum profitably using regular consumer-grade graphics cards, or GPUs. This technical detail sparked a new kind of digital gold rush. It attracted Michael Intrator, Brian Venturo, and Brannon McBee. These guys weren't your typical Silicon Valley coders, they were seasoned commodity traders. Their skill wasn't writing code, it was spotting market opportunities. In the Wild West of crypto, they saw an opportunity of a lifetime. The math was simple. The cost of electricity and a GPU was far less than the value of Ethereum that it could mine. They started experimenting with a single GPU on a pool table in a lower Manhattan office. By 2017, they made it official, founding their company as Atlantic Crypto. They bought up every GPU they could find. As the operation grew, they weren't simply mining, they were running a sophisticated trading operation, playing hardware and energy costs against the volatile price of Ethereum. They were applying the cold logic of Wall Street to the chaos of crypto. Then in 2018, the bubble burst. The crypto winter had arrived. Prices crashed, and mining operations that were profitable months earlier were suddenly going bankrupt. For most, this was the end, but for the founders of Atlantic Crypto, it was just the beginning. Doing what savvy traders do, they didn't panic. They saw a fire sale. While competitors were dumping to cover their losses, Intrator, Ventura, and McBee started buying. They snatched up huge inventories of distressed GPUs for pennies on the dollar, building a massive fleet of high-powered processors for a fraction of the cost. They were building an arsenal of computing power, though at the time they didn't realize what that arsenal would soon be capable of. By hoarding the digital pickaxes of the 21st century during a downturn, they inadvertently prepared for a much bigger gold rush just over the horizon. By 2019, the founders had a revelation. The crypto market was still a roller coaster, but the hardware they'd collected, these thousands of powerful NVIDIA GPUs, had a much more stable value. They realized that using these incredible pieces of tech to guess numbers for a crypto network was like using a Formula 1 engine to power a go-kart. The real potential of their hardware was being wasted. They saw the future, and they saw a new world of computing on the horizon. Fields like scientific research, visual effects, and a tiny emerging field called artificial intelligence all needed the exact kind of power that the GPUs excelled at. The big cloud providers back then, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, weren't built from the ground up for the demanding needs of GPU-heavy computing. This was the moment of foresight that changed everything. The founders decided to pivot. They would build a new cloud, not a general purpose one, but a specialized high-performance platform designed for one thing, delivering the fastest, most efficient GPU computation on the market. In December 2019, they rebranded from Atlantic Crypto to CoreWeave. They began repurposing their huge GPU fleet away from mining and towards cloud services. Critically, their platform was built to be Kubernetes native from the start. Now, for those not deep in cloud tech, Kubernetes is a gold standard for automating and managing applications. By building their entire cloud around it, CoreWeave made it easy for developers to move complex AI workloads onto their systems. They weren't just renting out hardware, they were building a sophisticated software layer on top of it that squeezed every last drop of performance out of their NVIDIA GPUs. They claimed a specialized approach that can make AI workloads run up to 20% more efficiently than on the big generic clouds. But this pivot wasn't a clean overnight switch. For years, the two businesses of crypto mining and the specialized cloud ran side by side. And in fact, as late as 2022, crypto mining still made up nearly 61% of their revenue. The final push came in late 2022 when the Ethereum network went through the merge, an upgrade that made GPU mining totally obsolete. Overnight, their crypto safety net vanished. CoreWeave was all in on its specialized AI cloud. And luckily for them, their timing turned out to be perfect. Just as CoreWeave shed the last of its crypto past, the world changed forever. In late 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT, and the generative AI boom began. Suddenly, every developer was trying to build and fine-tune foundation models. This created a nearly infinite demand for high-end NVIDIA GPUs at massive scale. All at once, everyone needed what CoreWeave had spent the last 3 years building: a massive, efficient, on-demand fleet of the world's most powerful graphics cards. Their bet had paid off, and bigger than they ever could have imagined. CoreWeave's killer advantage was its deep relationship with NVIDIA. They weren't just another customer, they had elite partner status, giving them priority access to NVIDIA's most sought-after GPUs. While the rest of the world was fighting over a global GPU shortage, CoreWeave was at the front of the line for new cutting-edge hardware like the newest Blackwell chips. The financial results were breathtaking. After posting revenues of around $16 million in 2022, the company exploded. In 2023, revenue shot up by $229 million. By 2024, it soared to an astonishing $1.92 billion. On March 28, 2025, CoreWeave debuted on the NASDAQ under the ticker CRWV. The IPO was a landmark event, turning the former miners into titans of the new AI economy. The company's stock immediately became a battleground for investors. Its performance mirrored both the hype and the anxiety around the AI boom. During the summer of 2025, the stock went on an incredible run, hitting a peak of $90 a share after announcing a massive expansion of its deal with OpenAI, which now totals up to $22 billion through 2030. But then the market's euphoria cooled. Investors got nervous about the immense debt CoreWeave had taken on and the threat from giants like Amazon and Microsoft. The stock saw some major volatility, eventually pulling back to trade in the $65 to $75 range by mid-December 2025. Even as the stock price bounced around, the company's growth engine kept roaring. CoreWeave's Q3 2025 report silenced many doubters. The company announced it had generated an incredible $1.36 billion in revenue that single quarter alone, a 133% jump. Even more staggering, it revealed its backlog of future committed contracts had swelled to over $55 billion. In just a few years, a small mining operation had become the go-to infrastructure partner for the biggest names in AI. CoreWeave's rise has been meteoric, but a king is never truly safe on the throne. The same aggressive strategy that fueled its growth also carries huge risks. The first is debt. To build its empire of silicon, CoreWeave has been fueled by massive loans. In 2023, it secured a $2.3 billion credit facility, followed by a record-breaking $7.5 billion debt deal in 2024. Just this month, on December 9, 2025, they priced a new $2.25 billion convertible note offering. This high-leverage model is a double-edged sword. It let them buy GPUs ahead of competitors, but it also creates immense financial pressure. That mountain of debt could become a serious problem. The second risk is its deep dependence on NVIDIA. That elite partnership is CoreWeave's superpower, but it's also a single point of failure. Any disruption in NVIDIA's supply chain or any change in the relationship between the two companies could directly threaten CoreWeave's ability to grow. Their fate is tied to the fortunes of their most important partner. Finally, there's the threat of the already big tech giants. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google aren't sitting back. They are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into their own AI infrastructure. While CoreWeave has an edge in specialization and cost, it is in a long-term war against three of the most powerful companies on the planet. CoreWeave's entire gamble is that its purpose-built approach will continue to offer an advantage so compelling that it can defend its territory. Their future depends on proving that their kingdom is a better home for AI than the sprawling empires of their rivals. The story of CoreWeave is one for the history books. It's about seeing value where others saw none, a perfectly timed pivot, and about the speed at which technology can create new fortunes. The founders started out chasing a crypto gold rush, only to find out that the tools they were using were a key to a much bigger revolution. They weren't just mining a currency, they were mining the future. Their journey from a pool table to a multi-billion-dollar public company is a masterclass in foresight. They understood earlier than anyone that the real value wasn't in the coins, but in the computing power that was mining them. The question now is, can this AI king defend its throne? Can it manage its debt and navigate its dependence on NVIDIA, and fight off the colossal power of the hyperscalers? The coming years will tell the tale, and we'll all be watching. What do you think is next for CoreWeave? Is their specialized model a lasting advantage, or will the tech giants eventually squeeze them out? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories on the businesses shaping our world. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.